Well, it's quite a difficult point to explain because obviously it is very prevalent in society, and almost all cultures have some form of religious beliefs.
The word religion is like the word sport, and it just describes so many different things that you can't really... It's like, where does sport come from? That'd be an equally hard thing to describe.
You have to understand that religion originated in a time before civilization, when survival was more of an imperative.
Yeah, so the genesis of religion would have been such a small little seed of perhaps just a way of thinking, which was slightly irrational, but it still maybe gave results. Like it could have been the idea that there's that the nature or external forces are in some way conscious.
These things that seem irrational now, when we analyse it from our perspective of being a civilised, sort of technologically advanced people, they seem absurd, but when you trace them back to the sort of historical origin, they start to make more sense.
People congregating would be beneficial to ancient civilizations forming, and villages forming, and tribes, and holding them together. That could be one explanation for one facet of it.
I think obviously the distinguishing feature of humans as a species is our intelligence, and that's what essentially has caused civilization. So I think religion, the very beginnings of religion, I think would have something to do with our realisation of death in some way.
Natural curiosity to answer what storms are, what diseases are, what any of these things are. That would then contribute to another facet of something which probably wouldn't be called a religion. It's just people gathering together and discussing what they're curious about.
A person dies, and obviously we've got the conscious, we can remember that person when they were alive. We see them there motionless and cold, and that we might reason that that person has left and gone somewhere else to a different, the realm of the ancestors.
It would have been a very small thing that could then expanded into each characters of the nature having certain roles, or certain consciousnesses, being having to worship them in certain ways or pay respects in certain ways. It could have evolved in that same method all the way to paganism and monotheisms.
Our species, generally, our pursuit is for comfort and happiness, and perhaps our realisation of death, it kind of brings discomfort and unease. So in terms of a being who wants to live without emotional distress and suffering, creating a kind of convenient mythology surrounding death to kind of take the fear out of it, that could be the very beginnings of kind of ancestor worship, where people believed that there was a place where their ancestors went, and they had certain rituals to communicate with these ancestors.
Just from applying the scientific method to explain religion, or rather its kind of small parts, you're already becoming quite a clear picture of what kind of habitat those things would have arisen and why they'd be so strong today. So in a way you're explaining it by taking it apart and putting it back together again.
We're a species that has become conscious of the fact that we die, and religion sort of sprung up as an explanation for that.
Civilization is like a pyramid where those that help themselves or help others get higher, and they can then and using kind of wisdoms or supposed wisdoms about the world is a way to get to the top. It's a way to gain power.
From the perspective of being a ruler in that position, a king or an emperor, to be able to draw from the ultimate unquestionable authority is, the best way you could possibly control a population of people.
Reach a position of power, and then you would also have an influence over people, and using those wisdoms to mutate their own values is also another exercise of power.
If they all believe that there'll be plagues sent down if they go and worship this certain other god from a different culture, that's a perfectly easy way to control them.
This civilization is about rising yourself to a more powerful position or richer position, and using supposed wisdoms to first get yourself into that position and then manipulate society to keep you in that position is a very natural progression, I think.
So I think when civilization originated is when you got the sort of religions that are all about laws and rules, like early Judaism, and also obviously the origin of writing and scripture and things is kind of like, I suppose, primitive rule books that draw from the ultimate authority of God as a kind of convenient means of controlling a population of people.
So yes, on civilization and these ideas or wisdoms are quite inextricably entwined.